Welcome to January's Create and Build Challenge. This month, we're going to be looking at speed, and specifically how we can test and calculate how fast an object is traveling. So to do that, we're going to need to make two things this month. The first thing, the object that we're going to calculate how fast is going. And we're doing a winter theme, so I made a skier that we can put down a slope. So a couple key pieces to make your skier at home. Obviously, the skis. I used 2 large craft sticks, but anything that's flat and of equal length will definitely work. Maybe cardboard that you cut out in the shape of skis. And then for the body of the skier, I used pipe cleaners. I like the pipe cleaners because they're nice and bendy. They also can attach the pieces to each other to make a really good frame for the skier. But if you don't have pipe cleaners at home, wooden skewers would work. Take out chopsticks would also work. Something that'll have a nice and strong shape for your frame. And then once I made my frame out of my pipe cleaners, I took pieces of tin foil and wrapped it around to make it extra strong too. A nice thing about tin foil is the more you fold it, the more solid your piece can be, but also still a little flexible. So once I made the skier's body, I had to attach to the skis. I did that with a little bit of tape. Obviously you can use glue or any sort of adhesive to keep them together. So now that we've made our object and want to know how fast it's going, we need somewhere to test it. So I made a ski slope. Let me show you. To create my slope, I used a big piece of paper, and I taped one side to the floor, and I taped the other side to the top of the table, nice and tight. If you don't have a big piece of paper, that's okay. You can use a cardboard box that's been unfolded to make one big piece of cardboard, or if you want to make a smaller slope on a tabletop, you can use a cereal box that's been unfolded, or maybe a cracker box. All you really need is something that can make a straight surface between 2 different heights, and that'll create a slope. So now that we have our slope, and we have our skier, we need 2 more pieces of information to figure out how fast it can go. We need to know the distance traveled, and we need to know the time it takes to travel that distance. So first thing first, measure our slope. I've got a tape measure here. If you don't have a tape measure, a ruler will do. Our slope is 68 inches. And now we need to find out how fast it takes our skier to travel that 68 inches. I'm going to use a stopwatch on my phone, but you can use any clock, just something that'll let you know how long it takes for your skier to get from the top to the bottom. Place the skier at the top. When I let go, I'm going to hit start. When I get to the bottom, hit stop. So my skier took 1.55 seconds to get from the top to the bottom of my slope. So now we're going to need to do a little bit of math. And it's always helpful when doing math to have a calculator. So we have our 68 inches, and then we're going to need to divide that by the 1.55 seconds it took to get from the top to the bottom. So 68 divided by 1.5. We got our answer of 45.333, lots of threes after that. So we'll round it to this. Inches per second. So that's how fast the speed our skier was going. So one thing you can do is run this experiment multiple times to see how consistent that 1.55 seconds is. Is it always 1.55 seconds? And if you get different times, can you get an average of those numbers and use that to calculate speed? Another thing that you can experiment with is the angle of the slope. The angle of your slope is more steep. Does the time change? Faster, slower? If your slope is less steep, does this change as well? And does that change into your calculations? So lots of different variables you can play around with this month when trying to find the speed of your skier. As always, we'll have a link in the description to find more resources where you can explore more about slope and speed. And as always, happy building!